So, talk show host Bill Maher is obviously more on the liberal side of politics. So, as an outsider, he's been looking in at the whole debate raging on the conservative right in America over Tucker Carlson and his platforming and fawning interview of Nick Fuentes, who is, has modern day Nazi-like views. This is Bill Maher's take on the whole thing. Let's have a watch.
Tucker Carlson used to be the guy in the bow tie. Tucker Carlson was like the old school kind of country club Republican, and then he became, I don't know what, he's like the world's oldest groyper, because he started having on Holocaust deniers. He started to be the I'm just asking questions guy. Questions like, who do you think was the good guys in World War II? Really stupid questions, but he's just asking questions. So now we had on this guy, this Fuentes guy, and never challenged him. Then the American Heritage Foundation got involved. They're the people behind, I think, the Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation. They're a very big Republican group. And the head of the Heritage Foundation came out and he attacked the people who were attacking Tucker Carlson for giving him the friendly interview. This guy, Kevin Roberts, head of the Heritage Foundation, he said, well, we shouldn't attack Carlson. When we disagree with a person's thoughts and opinions, we challenge those ideas in debate. Except Kevin Roberts, that's not what Tucker Carlson did. He didn't challenge him. So now there's this war in the Republican Party. And I want to ask two questions about that, and then about which party seems to be having a bigger problem with anti-Semitism, because it seems like both parties now have an anti-Semitic wing. Is that a wrong assessment?
No, that's a right assessment. I mean, it's like asking Jews, where would you rather go back to, Germany or Egypt? Both places are bad.
Pretty good stuff. I have to say that something about the anti-Semitism that we're seeing today, it feels to me in some ways just a bit more obviously ridiculous and stupid. I think also we're seeing that there are people on both sides of the political aisle who aren't always thinking so in such partisan ways, and they're able to call out the nonsense and see it for what it is. As we're seeing in the case with Bill Maher, who's called out Jew hatred on both sides of the political aisle. So I think the stupidity and irrationality of anti-Semitism, I think, is starting to become more obvious to people who are willing to see it. There's an idea in the pre-Messianic era, everything's going to be revealed for what it is, and we're going to come to realize the truth. So now I think the facts and morality is going to, for those who are prepared to look at things plainly, I think it's going to become clearer and clearer. And we're simultaneously going to see more and more moral confusion from what are meant to be the outputs of moral direction in the West, whether it's the media, politicians, our celebrities and icons. The academia, there's utter moral confusion. And so, at the same time, the truth is becoming clearer and clearer, I think, just to the common man, for those who have their eyes open and are genuinely prepared to see it. So I think that's what we're seeing happening on both sides of the political aisle. People are going to be forced to make a choice of where do you actually wish to stand. As for the Jewish people, there's an increasing sense in America of Jews once again feeling a bit politically homeless. The truth is, however, that we've always been alone. And we should remember that the odds have always seemed stacked against us throughout our history. And yet here we stand. I have to read to you, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, an incredible quote from Mark Twain, where he talks about the eternity of the Jews. Because Mark Twain wrote this in 1899, okay? But it's just the most remarkable and beautiful passage. And he said this, he said, "The Egyptian, the Babylonian, and the Persian rose filled the planet with sound and splendor, then faded to dream stuff, and passed away. The Greek and the Roman followed and made a vast noise, and they are gone. Other peoples have sprung up and held their torch high for a time, but it burned out and they sit in twilight now or have vanished. The Jew saw them all, beat them all, and is now what he always was, exhibiting no decadence, no infirmities of age, no weakening of his parts, no slowing of his energies, no dulling of his alert and aggressive mind. All things are mortal but the Jew. All other forces pass, but he remains. What is the secret of his immortality? Beautiful, incredible words. And this was before the greatest modern catastrophe to hit the Jewish people, the Holocaust, and all the miracles that we subsequently saw, the re-establishment of Jewish sovereignty in the land, and all the challenges posed since. If you don't see the hand of God in Jewish history and in our story, that's also a case of willful blindness. So where are we headed? How does the future look? Well, the Jewish people are perhaps the one people on earth, one nation on earth, whose golden age that they refer to is in the future. The Messianic era, the Moshiach, the Jewish Messiah, that is the world in which we eagerly await. And this is the documentary that we've just released called Moshiach, the Jewish Messiah, all about who he will be according to the Jewish view, what he will do, and why his coming is close, and also what life will be like after his coming. This is the trailer for it, and if you want to watch the full thing, you can just click below in the video description on the link. For thousands of years, the Jewish people have carried a promise that history is not a random cycle, that suffering and darkness and exile are not the end of the story, that one day the world will be redeemed and the Messiah, the Moshiach in Hebrew, will come. But what does that actually mean? Who is Moshiach? When will he come? How will we know he's real? Why would God design a world that waits so long for redemption in the first place? And what will life feel like after he comes? With AI and machines beginning to replace work, maybe we're already catching a glimpse. But then what will we do with our days? The prophets spoke of that world long ago. In this groundbreaking JTV Plus documentary, we uncover the truth about the Jewish vision of the Messiah, who he is, why it matters, and why his coming could be closer than you think. Join us as we reveal the truth about history's most anticipated figure. To watch this JTV Plus documentary and access much more premium content, click on the link in the video description.